Let me go ahead and transition on over. Welcome in, everybody, to your favorite Wednesday midday stream. Today, focusing on that baby right over there. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How is your Wednesday going? Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic one so far. What do y'all think about the Defiant? I have got some positive thoughts and some negative thoughts already. I've got some positive thoughts and some negative thoughts already, but I'm really curious about what y'all think. Hey, Rev. Sorry. Hey, Ordrin. Just got it, man. Thank you. Thank you. One trick ponies from most of y'all. It is so close to not being a one trick pony. It is so close. And that's part of the feedback that I'm trying to give the dev team, or technically game design. It is so close to not being a one trick pony. It is so close. It is, but it's literally like right there from not being one. So there's a lot of really good things about it. There's a lot of really good things. I love that it had a free to play path immediately. So you have the option in the Bajoran faction store to start grinding it. I love that. You don't like my green bill? You don't like that you can see through? I mean, this is actually blue, so that just means I have the green screen effect on too strong. Technically it's blue, but if it's bugging you too much, I can change hats. Here you go. We'll just fully embrace the Saints theme today. I've got the green on too strong. But I do love that it has a path. Now I will, if anybody actually has one, I forgot to take a screenshot during the live stream yesterday when we got the Defiant. We bought the Defiant. But if anybody has a screenshot, I know it's 5,500 of the diplomacy tokens. If anybody has a screenshot of the actual cost of unlocking the Defiant, I'd appreciate it. So, yeah. Just shoot me that picture so I can have him for the video tomorrow. Knife says I skipped out so far on getting the ship, instead buying 3 Pokemon booster pack boxes. I actually would love that. We actually pulled yesterday. I got the secret rare Bolton on stream. Like on stream. It was great. It was great. Ronald's 49, there's no benefit in getting the Defiant. A pylon can give comparable loot versus Armadas. So there are some advantages. The way that it gives a bonus to edicts is really good. We've already got the math out on that, which is really nice. But I will say overall, yes, there are a lot of things that need to be improved upon with the Defiant, and that's part of the feedback I'm giving. But yeah, let me go through all my stuff real quick and do my turn-ins, get my rep, and we're gonna get all this, get our subspace transceivers, which we need for research. I'm gonna claim this, though, even though it doesn't do anything, just get rid of the pip. Credit exchange, I'm gonna go ahead and pull just because of it doing so much. And material claim, we're not gonna bother with any of that. We will get our directive for the day, though. There we go. I think I've got everything claimed in here for the day. So there is no event store currently. Correct. There is no Laddie. In November, we do not have an event store up. No. That always comes at the end of the month. I'm sorry, the end of the arc. So we are not at the end of the arc yet. And there have been quite a few people getting the Defiant, apparently. So many people have the Defiant on my server. 54 people have the Defiant so far on my server. 54. You got yours at tier 7 and stopped. Nice, Draco. Jason says, is it worth $100 if you have the budget for it? So that's part of what we're going to talk about today and go over today. So you do have a free-to-play path. It will take you roughly 3.5 months free to play to unlock it. Start now. Technically start yesterday. Can't complain about that. That's actually really good. Let's get the prime. That's actually really good. So we're happy about that. I'm happy about that at least, and hopefully y'all are as well. I'm going to swap over to the jelly real quick and get the grind, and then we'll use something else for the Defiant, just so I can start on that grind today. Until I get stream sniped, then we'll swap over. But yeah, I think that today is going to be interesting because, like Wolfwood says, it's not a one-trick pony. For me, it comes out to the simple math. And I've mathed it out pretty extensively. Y'all will see this in the video tomorrow. I mathed it out. The weapons as it sits is very comparable to the D4 / Gladius, like right in the middle of both of those. So the best way to do it is if we actually go to the ship menu, and you can see these ships at tier 1. So if we go Interceptor, you see I've got one building here. But D4, look at your attack and look at your DPR, look at your piercing values. That way it's 1-to-1 because it's your research, everything. 354, 139. And then if you go over to the Defiant, you'll see that it is at 318, 122, slightly weaker. But if we go over to the Gladius, much stronger than the Gladius. So a little bit in between both of those as a ship. Now, here's where the problem comes in. Like many ships of its style, it is level locked. As in, you have to be a certain level to get to a certain point in its progression. Now, those level locks are as follows. Let me actually put the Defiant on the screen so it makes sense. Here are the level locks for the Defiant. As you can see, it's nothing like ridiculously bad, but my argument to them is, like, for example, if you're in this purple section, this ship literally has no use for you, except as a Cerritos 2.0. None at all. It literally has no use to you. And the reason I can say that is I have another picture I can show, or I'll show you what a maxed one looks like. And you'll be like, Rev, that's so strong. Except it's not really that strong. It only looks strong because you're a low level. Here is max. 52.2 million for this player. That's not really that strong. For a level 55, that's a very weak ship. It's a very weak ship. So its scaling needs to come back. And they tried to include G5 in this to give G5 players incentive. But what they really need to do is scale it back and just have G5 be research that builds it up. Because what it should be, in my opinion, it should be a ship that tiers from 35 to 50. And you should have another tier or two in the blue section, and then maybe one more tier in the yellow section to actually make it viable for more players. Yeah, tiers 10 through 12 is purple, which makes no sense because it's a 4-star ship, not 5-star. So why do you lock the tiers behind? Like, why would you go halfway into 5-star locking a 4-star tier behind? So if you could find this pulled back, like if you could take this purple area and push it back into 4-star, I think that alone would take away the one-trick pony aspect of the Defiant. Now, you can do other things with it, and I'll show you all that here in a minute. I can go kill capital traders with it. I can grind with it, but I'm not going to grind with it. But there are some of the numbers there, and the level lock system, I think, is what's really just shooting itself in the foot. Because this does have, like, it's so close to being a very good, very used, and desired ship. And if that was brought down just a little bit, I would say, yeah, buy it today. But as of now, it's really tough for, like, when somebody says, hey, is it worth spending $100 on? It's just a bit, it's a stronger Cerritos. So, I mean, y'all can make that decision for yourself. But it's a solid ship, but there's nothing about it that just makes you go, dang, I really got to have that. Let's put it back over here. Now, mine's tier 1, level 5, because I haven't taken it. One other thing about it is I've done both my pulls for parts, and I've gotten enough to do one part upgrade. It is a grind. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to get the parts you need. It's going to take a while. All right, Big E stream sniping because that's what he does. So we're going to switch back to the Defiant and just go do some Defiant grind runs in Jemadar space. Yeah, it's going to be a long grind. And that's no, I don't honestly mind the long grind. It's not the worst thing, but it is going to make it to where the incentive to go after it now is low. And I feel like at this point, most people are going to get it come like February, March and not really care until they actually have it. Now, it needs more. It needs more research. It needs more Bajoran favors that boost it and make it better and make it stronger as a ship on its own. And if it gets that, well, then we're in a better position to really incentivize, going after it earlier. But right now, that incentive is low. Like, there's not really a need to. Now, as a grinder, it grinds well. And I'll show y'all, I'll take it against the 39s, but we'll go up to 41s and stuff, and it'll grind those pretty heavily. Are you building another one? You have one built? So Shaz, the reason being is we bought one on stream yesterday, and then Scopely decided to give the content creators one. So shout out to, thank you Scopely for giving one to content creators. That's very nice of them. But I had already bought it. So now I've got two, and that one will be used to do the unveiling. So Fenris is right. It doesn't have cloaking yet, and I assume that is coming. Obviously, the Defiant is known for having cloaking. I assume cloaking is coming. But you're right, it doesn't have cloaking. As if we don't have enough to grind already. Well, see, this goes back to my argument, though. Like, if grinding the Defiant meant you didn't have to grind something else, that would be great. It would really incentivize buying it. And if grinding the Defiant meant I didn't have to grind the D4. I'm passing it on to the dev team as we're talking. But like, if you got that, if you can get to that point, and I know there's discussions happening about it, so that's good. There are discussions happening about it. But if you can make it to where it's not an additional grind, but it replaces a grind, then we're good. How's it defined on general PvE? Well, here's the thing, George. This comes down to its actual weapons damage and hull health. So when it comes to how strong it actually is, it's between a rare and an epic G3 at at base levels. Now, it will outpace those ships. Eventually, it will outpace them. But out of the box, and for a player in the 30s, it's weaker than your epic G3 and weaker than your maxed rare G3. Weapons wise, it's okay. It's okay. It's like they combine the Stella and the Cerritos essentially. So I'm trying to argue to make it better before then. So right now you see me, I'm grinding Jemadar hostiles with the Defiant right now. Now I could take down the 39s very easily at tier 1. We'll move up to the 40s here, which by the way, I do appreciate them changing the warp ranges. I do really appreciate them lowering the warp ranges on a lot of these. That was very nice. Duration of the buff and the skill cooldown is bunk, and you have 2 Defiants. So I'm building 2, and I will have 2. I will be able to tell you tomorrow if I can separate the buffs. Big E went boom, you've been avenged. Thank you, Knifey. I appreciate that. I appreciate you avenging me. I appreciate you avenging me. Maybe Scopely hasn't seen those episodes where it cloaked. I think it's just one of those things where they're not going to put out everything for the ship immediately, and we've seen that before. So I'll be very surprised if cloaking is not coming. He says, is that not the case? I mean, the daily bundle that scales the Defiant tier is a hefty chunk of the Jemadar grind, so you could reasonably skip that grind and coast on the free claim. I don't think it's near enough to do that. No, I really don't, because you still need to do the grind so that you can be getting the credits and not only pulling the armadas, but also getting those extra credits because you want to be able to get the favors. If you only relied on that daily turn-in, which we actually have how much that gives you in our Discord, Jules Verne's been working on it, you do not get near enough for all that. Like tier 1, you get 190 badges and 30 credits. And even at tier 5, you get 250 badges and 90 credits. It's not enough to rely on. It's a nice addition. It's a nice addition, but it's not enough to rely on. So you still have to go through the grind. And that's part of the reasoning of why we're fighting for the Defiant to improve quickly. Holmes says, well, next month is the release of Starbase PvP, so maybe cloaking for the Defiant will come then. How do you know next month is the release of Starbase PvP? Where'd you hear that? Do you know how to get 4-star rare survey parts for the amalgam? Get level 40 plus, essentially. Darius, obviously I cannot give you info on the mid-arc update. I obviously cannot do that. I know what it is, but I can't tell you. Concerning your recent morale video about 9 minutes in, you hinted at some officers that can break max mitigation. Can you go into detail? I'm not going into detail in this video, but Kira can break max mitigation in armadas, which will actually break the armada, and Khan can do the same thing. So there are a couple officers that can do that. Yeah, my sale button got replaced with a claim button, which is basically just saying, hey, go buy the monthly pack, which there it is. It's really annoying that they did that. It's not actually a claim. It's literally just wanting me to go buy the monthly pack. So they're gonna claim my resources. Unless it meant that, which I guess is just another pip they added, but that pip already exists over here. Maybe that's what it is, and I'm giving them false grief. But I'll use the Defiant like I use my Cerritos, slaying hundreds of players, miners. There you go. I mean, I'm going to use the Defiant. I like the Defiant. It's an okay ship, but it needs to be better because it's the Defiant. Like, I don't mind the Cerritos being pretty much a one-trick pony. It's the Cerritos. In the show, it's essentially a one-trick pony. But the Defiant was not a one-trick pony. The Defiant was arguably the strongest ship of its size. It was not the strongest ship in Star Trek. I know a lot of people will say stuff like that. It wasn't. It was designed to fight the Borg, but it was not stronger than a Galaxy-class ship or a Sovereign-class ship. But it still was the strongest escort-style, interceptor-style ship of the era. And for it to be limited to essentially a support ship is not fair to Star Trek or the fans of Star Trek. Not fair to Star Trek or the fans of Star Trek. It's Mateo says it should have an edge over the Borg. Well, technically we only saw it fight the Borg in one movie, and technically the Borg whooped its butt. So I don't know if I can agree with you on that. Like, just because it's designed to fight the Borg doesn't mean it was secretly great versus the Borg. It was getting its butt absolutely handed to it in First Contact. But yeah, I still think it should be a much stronger interceptor than what's currently presented. These 42s are hurting me a lot more than I'd like to admit, but it's a tier 1, level 5. And I have and y'all know this because I've shown y'all this, I have very little interceptor research done because for about 2 years I've been focusing on nothing but explorers and battleships. So I've really got to start doing more research for those. Maybe it becomes the OP Borg Armada ship of the future, and maybe it does, but we can only base off what we see now, right? And right now, what we see is an underperforming one-trick pony. That doesn't mean it's bad, but it's also not get excitement worthy either. And to me, the Defiant should get you excited. Like, I love that I have it, and I have to give them credit that it actually looks good in space, thank the baby Jesus, that it looks decent, because a lot of the new ships coming out have looked like crap in space. This one doesn't look like crap, but it needs to be more than it is. It needs to be more than it is. Go get interceptor research for the pylon. Yeah, so I've started working on it, but like you come into my territory tree and see my interceptor shields is at 2 out of 12 and warfare's 3 out of 12, hull integrity. So I 100% have not been doing near as much as I should in this area. Now I'm obviously going to start working on that. But when you, for 2 years, are focusing on different classes, you don't have as much incentive to do that. You be very careful I don't accidentally speed up the Defiant because I need that for tomorrow. Does the Fed research count for the Defiant? No, Demon Rhino does not. It is a special ship. Now, how do you crew it? Brandon, personally, I crew it with the Deep Space Nine crew. That's what I crew it with. It's probably going to replace my auger. It's probably going to replace my auger. Now remember, when you get the Defiant out of the box, it does come with 2 favors, and these favors will tier up with you. So like this one increases the kinetic damage of the Defiant versus the Jim Hadar. So it does have bonuses. It does have bonuses when fighting these armadas and everything that in any Jim Hadar hostile, really. But yeah, Jim Hadar solo armada. Okay, yeah, just solos. But it has 1 kinetic weapon. So that only gives it the kinetic weapon, but it also has this magnetic field optimization, which is the chance of reloading the energy weapons, making them double fire. So those phase cannons and the phase beam emitter firing multiple times. Now, I will show you on the screen if y'all haven't seen it yet. We'll put it on the screen. Oh, it is on the screen. I didn't realize it was on the screen. How did you get on the screen? Did I do that? I don't remember doing that. Okay, cool. So right here, we've got the firing pattern or the weapons. So cooldown 2, but shoots 4 times on the pulse cannons, which I actually love, which is exactly what it did in the show. Here's your torpedo launcher, 1 shot, but long cooldown and warm up. Long cooldown and warm up, but it's a big one. A big shot, but long cooldown and warm up. And then you have the phase beam emitter, which fires every single round. Fires every single round. So they're your weapons for it. Defiant might be the second most iconic ship in the show. It is, and that's why it needs to be more than it is. It needs to be more than it is. It will get better as you tier it up, but remember there's limits to how high you can take it. You are limited to taking it to, here, let's put it back on the screen. What is it? At 30, if you're a level 39 player, the highest you can have is a tier 3. If you're a level 44 player like I am, I could get it to tier 6. So, yeah, it's okay. But I think that we need to greatly change the tier or adjust it a bit. Now, let me actually put on the screen the firing pattern. Like we looked at the weapons, but just to give you a visual on the firing pattern, here it is. So first round, it's all energy, but you're gonna have 5 shots. Round 2, 1 shot. Round 3, 5, and then big kinetic weapon in round 4, 8, and 12. So most of these solo armadas I find are going anywhere from 18 to 22 rounds. So that means that you're going to get 5 shots in with that kinetic. And I would really argue that the kinetic weapon needs to fire every 3 rounds instead of every 4. But that's just personal thought. Here, let me actually put that in. All right, just putting feedback in. Just putting feedback in as we go through all this. What's up, Think Tank? How you doing, Ark? Hellbringer says, when I started a new account, I figured the average time to max to Franklin with needed parts is 14 months. So I expect this will take that long, not longer for the part sourcing. The part sourcing does not feel great. No more ops level locks on ships. Stop it. Okay, so part of that I disagree with, because if you're talking about a ship like the Defiant, for an example, a level 39 player shouldn't have this. So there does need to be a balance in that. I do disagree with a lot of level locking, but you also shouldn't be able to do this at level 39. So balance needs to be found there. But at the same time, only a level 55 or higher player could have this. And this is waste, like this doesn't do anything for them. This is a crappy ship. Power wise, that's a crappy ship for a level 55 player. Materials already limit that. Fair argument and fair counterpoint to that, Jason. Fair counterpoint. Materials are the limited. And that's cool. I just want to point out that this shouldn't be in a level 39's hands. What was the rationale for tearing it up all the way first day? They wanted to. What other rationale do you need? They wanted to. Who am I to tell somebody what they can and cannot do with their money? If they want to do that, go for it. Rev is not going to judge. Not my job. Oh, dang it. I got to do solo Eclipse modders. I really am trying to get better with my outlaw tree. I really am. I promise y'all, I'm trying my best. Oh, gosh. All right, over here, let me go get this. Your daily rewards are higher at higher tier. It means you finish the faction faster. It does. And I like that aspect of the Defiant. I love that aspect of the Defiant. It still is a long grind though. And we're currently, by the way, Draco, if you wouldn't mind, did you see the ping I put in my Discord? Can you contact Jules just because you're tier 7? And I know he's looking for that tier for information. If you could contact Jules, I'd really appreciate it, Draco, just because I know you've got the Defiant at that tier. How's a T3 Defiant compared to a Tier 8 Valdor? It's going to be weaker. The T8 D4 is going to be close to twice as strong power-wise and weapon-wise. Now, the Defiant is going to be better than a T3 Defiant is probably going to outperform a T8 D4 in a solo armada. But in terms of overall general use, which goes back to like the big argument we were discussing, it's not going to outperform it in any other category. And that's a big problem for a lot of players. And I can definitely see why. Let me swap out. Oh, wait, wrong group. This one. Apply. There you go, by the way. I'm using it. Y'all want me to use crew presets. I'm using them. Did you see me? Did you see me use a crew preset? You're welcome. It is a tough little ship. Little. I'd rather be more ops limited than material limited. It means higher ops players have to wait longer for the ship to be useful. Well, that's the thing, Pseudo. It's not useful at all as a higher level. Like, the only thing it's useful for is being Cerritos 2.0. And to me, that's wasting the Defiant. Defiant is Texas class? Okay. Sorry, just putting feedback in. Why did I go here? I'm trying to mine materials. Because I gotta get that bonus refinery ready for this month. And I'm not ready for bonus refinery at all. I'm nowhere near ready. Hey, Obi, I'm doing well. We're just, I'm grinding a little bit with the Defiant. We're discussing it as a whole, preparing for tomorrow's video on the Defiant. So I'm curious to get more and more of your thoughts for those who have gotten it so far. And if you haven't gotten it, why have you not gotten it? And what are your thoughts from what you've seen? Because I am trying to collect feedback and pass it along to the dev team and game design. I think that the idea that it should be just a support ship is terrible. I don't like that. At what point do you think the Defiant can match, say, a Kelvin? I don't think it can. EC Monkey. I really don't. Because of the level lock. At the current tier lock structure, the highest you're going to get it is a tier 5 if you've got a Kelvin. Right here. Tier 5 is as high. At tier 5, it is not going toe-to-toe with the Kelvin. It's not going toe-to-toe with the Kelvin. The only thing it's going to do better, is in Solo Armada. To me, that's a problem. That's just my opinion. I think that it should scale and be a general use ship that also is good at Armada. I hope they give us events like the Jelly events to help with leveling beyond the faction resources. I would like that as well. Let me do my collections real quick so I don't forget, because I'm about to go blow through more research today. I got disappointed that I couldn't upgrade one component without buying a pack. Yeah, I mean, I've done 2 days of the pulls and I can now upgrade one component. 2 days of the pulls, I can upgrade one component. Dang, I ain't got to mine 3-star ISO. Jeez, running low. Running low. Tier 5 Defiant is about as potent as the Tier 1 Kelvin for raw stats, but a little bit less hull, but more raw damage. Well, keep in mind that when I'm comparing versus a Kelvin, I'm not comparing against a Tier 1. Because I don't expect anybody to actually run out and try to do an Armada with a Tier 1 Kelvin. So I don't think it's fair to even put that in the comparison. I don't think that's fair to put in the comparison. I think you take the highest tier it can go and then a comparable tier. Like I've got a tier 5.5, tier 5 Valdor. The last ship Sculpted released and then fixed was the Manus, correct? Defiant fixed. Defiant fixed. Because to me, what I would want from the Defiant is a full-on overhaul, which you haven't really had since the Enterprise A and the Hegtog got an overhaul. Grumpy says, I've not gotten it. I spent money on the Mantis, and that loop is so broken on our server with no fix in sight. Not going to spend money on a new ship until I get what I paid for the old ship. That's fair, Grumpy saying. And I did talk to the dev team about that problem in particular. And while the fix did not get released this month, it is something that they are working on. And I know you've heard that a million times, but literally every time I bring it up to them, they're saying that we're working on it. So I just leave that in their semi-capable hands. Tell them it being broken, it stopped people from buying more? Who are you talking about, Forgotten? Oh, dude, I promise you that game design does not work on that decision. That's like a marketing thing. Working with game companies is very interesting. I'll just put it that way. Working with game companies is very interesting. Had a player in my alliance leave the game within an hour of seeing the details of the Defiant. Nice, good to know. How come Scopa doesn't ever do pre-release type announcements leading up to new content like other games do? They might sell more Defiant. Tiberius, because they believe that actually hinders sales and they have numbers that back that up. That's their opinion. That's why they operate the way they do. That's why they operate the way they do. They believe that's a hindrance, not a help. We can argue whether that's true, false, whatever. I'm not picking sides on it. I'm just telling you the thought process. Increase the cost to use the boost, but have it automatically boost the entire mono instead of one ship at a time. Eh. Can I return the ship? Is there a lemon law? Sadly, there's no lemon law. No. What should I spend my max Mayflower resources on once scrapped? I have a video for that. There are several primes that you can get after you've scrapped the ship. Would encourage you to get those primes for free. Prime cell efficiency, prime officers being right up there at the top. The prime minings you can do for 3-star are big. For your refinery pulls, all those are huge. All those are huge. Brigadier Jones, thank you for the New Zealand 10. Sorry, y'all, for all the typing, just sending things to devs and game design. Just trying to get y'all's feedback directly to them. Sorry I missed almost all the stream. I guess you don't like the Defiant. I'm mixed. Like, I like it, but I would like it if it wasn't the Defiant. I'll put it that way. They ruined one of the best ships in Star Trek. I just like, if this was like the USS Excelsior, I'd have no problem with the design and the layout. But it's the Defiant, arguably the second most iconic Star Trek ship ever. Arguably. And by definition, a warship. Like, I can honestly understand if this was Voyager, because Voyager was a science ship, but it's the Defiant. So, I don't know. I'm like, I have no problem with the structure. I love the free-to-play path and the grind opening in the beginning. I like the favor system built in with it. I don't like the length of the grind, but I still like that the path is there and the ability to progress is there. There's a lot of good to it, but at the same time, I expect this ship to be used as a warship, and you're just not going to do that. It's not efficient for you to do that. Let me do my one armor upgrade I can afford. It's just not efficient. It's not efficient as a warship. If I can take it out in PvP with it, but it would be better for me to PvP with my maxed Gladius. Does it handle solo armadas out of the box? I mean, I used it in a solo armada yesterday against a 46. Let's see if we can scroll and find it. We were on stream when we did it. Here we go. So this is what I did yesterday on stream. We did one, and it was the Defiant, the Enterprise, the Valdor. I used the Defiant's ability on the Valdor, and I also Cerritos boosted all three of these ships. But I did use it here, and I did not bring, I didn't think of switching out and putting Kirk on here. I just used him a normal run and brought the Defiant, and the Defiant blew up fast. The Defiant blew up in like round 4, but the Valdor, because of the Defiant boost, made it all the way to round 22 and essentially carried. So that was a positive. That was a positive. If you remember, I had to use a tier 8 auger to beat this before, and now I beat it with just the Enterprise Valdor and essentially a boosted baby Defiant, which is okay. Now, obviously, the Defiant was tier 1, no upgrades, nothing there, no real officer. Like, I couldn't even stack officer stats for Cisco, you know, so, but yeah. Used on low 40 mods and failed badly. Use a Defiant, Jelly, and Auger. Again, this is going to depend on your stat stacking that you can do and several other things that you can do. But I took down a 46, which is what I can normally take down, but I took it down with a much smaller ship. With a much smaller ship. Any event that will drop Defiant BP this month. So there's a couple of missions, or a couple of BPs in the missions, but no, there's not an event that's paying out Defiant that I can think of. There's not an event paying out any Defiant stuff that I can think of. I am going to be doing a lot of research, though, to get this Defiant up. Defiant should double the resource drop from defeating Hegemodar hostiles. I agree with that as well. Let me put that in. Oh man, sorry. There's so many people to talk to. Where do I find the daily faction event Prime Node or the Swarm Refinery Prime Node? I'm a 2-level at Ops 19. You are 2-level at Ops 19, Michael, yes. The whole HP is certainly an issue. Remember, Pseudo, with all interceptors, that really comes down to the XP level of the ship, and that will go up. But again, you're tier limited. You're tier limited. So like Ark, who's in the chat, Ark, you're at level 54 now, 55. And what tier have you taken the Defiant to, if you've taken it high at all? If you don't mind sharing. Like we have a couple people who've maxed it out, but not as many people as normal. Not as many people as normal. You're 52. Okay, so 52, you can take it to tier 9? Tier 10? 52. Tier 10. You take tier 10. So how high have you taken yours, Art? Is the new Prime Research worth it? Me, not really. Sorry, I'm talking to game design right now. Like I've actually worked my way into game design, so. Never let's go but disappoint you right out of the box. You have to give disappointment time to settle in. Oh, you've been around a while, my friend. You've been around a while, you can tell. So anyway, my initial thoughts are the Defiant's not bad. And if it was any other ship besides the Defiant, I really would have no problem with any of the setup. Because it is the Defiant, I take serious issue with the design. I think it needs to be something that's capable to hand itself in fights. I think it needs to be a ship that serves multiple purposes. Will there be permanent future weekly events for the Defiant like they have for the Discovery Stella Vidar? Not that I'm aware of at the moment. You love your Defiant so far, great grinder. So Saru, what do you have? Like, what are your ships at comparison-wise? So what other ships do you have? The art is fantastic. I feel this should be mentioned more. It's easily the nicest looking model. It is the nicest looking model released. In game design, watching the stream, I mean, I'm talking to them directly right now. So does that count? And they've appreciated the feedback. I can't guarantee that feedback turns into anything, but how long should it take to free to play the Defiant tracks? I think it's gonna be right around 3.5 months, not counting a few BPs that are in missions, and if they have like any type of event store that gives you more. Can they get rid of the cooldown for buying Defiant print? Nathan, it is supposed to have a time gate there if you want to free to play it. Now that time gate is shorter than 100 days. That time gate is shorter than a lot of other ships have been in the past, but yeah. All right, I've got to start all these. I'm so sorry, y'all. I've got to start away teams, especially because I'm trying to go after pylon BPs and oh man, let me get this in. Kirk and where's my Nero at? Nero, there we go. Hopefully we get that one in. $1 a day, basically, if you want to buy it. Yeah, if you want to buy it, you're skipping 100 days of grind, which is no big deal. I mean, it's up to y'all. If you do your stuff every day, like if you actually go through your progressions, you do your armadas consistently, you do your Bajoran grind, you'll get it in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, to me, that's a reasonable amount of grind time. Personal opinion. It's simply just going to take too much investment for it to be effective at my level, at least for solo armadas or hostile grinding. I just can't see myself putting cash into upgrades. Yeah, and that's what the conversation I'm having with them right now is that if it's only a one-trick pony, what's the incentive to jump in and spin on it? Passing along actually what you just said, mistaken, straight to GD. So there you go. In the series, the Defiant was destroyed and replaced. They may introduce another G5, G6 Defiant in the future. But surreal, you can't really do a G5 one because this one already goes to G5, which is a problem in my opinion. This one scales from 35 to 55. It's a 20 level scaling system for a ship that literally only has 12 tiers. All right, slightly different topic. Are the new primes worth it? Meh. Meh. Like if you're a high level player, if you're 50 plus, that new prime swarm isn't really worth it. If you're like in the 40s, that prime is actually pretty decent. But if you're a higher level player, the higher you are, the less those primes matter. The higher you are, the less those primes matter. So if you are a level 44 out there like me, and you're considering, hey, do I blow $100? That's pretty decent. Will the Defiant get a cloak? I'll be very, very surprised that the Defiant does not get a cloak. Very, very surprised that the Defiant does not get cloaked. You like the Swarm Prime for 53 or 54? See, you do, and we had another 53 who was in here who said they couldn't stand it. Like it was only 17 and a half a day for like the trip. And that's going to vary opinion to opinion. I do agree it's not enough for 50 plus. In my opinion, I don't think mathematically it's enough to justify the cost. That's just my thought. I don't like how the Enterprise D got cloaking in the update. There's too much Fed cloaking. I don't like Fed cloaking, I agree. Will they be fixed half a year later? Gloria, all I can do is repeat what I've told y'all many times. They're aware, they're working on it, fix is coming. That's all I've got for you. It's too bad they didn't design a Defiant ability that uses Warp or saved a version of Warp to release with the Defiant. So a ship ability that was based on an officer would be really interesting. What would be your idea for that? What would be your idea for that? I'm really curious your idea. Sorry, y'all. Game design asking questions and I want to answer them. So I want to answer them. Working on it, sorry, but knowing Scopely at BS will ignore it. Nope, that's not happening, Vic. I can tell you that they're working on it. Now, are they working on it in an expeditious manner that we like? No. But are they working on it? Yes. So the problem with the Achaean Hostiles has technically been around for about 4 years. But it was never really that big of a deal or that obvious because you never had a hostile layout that was built around one special ship spawning, literally only one to give bonus loot. That never existed. This problem isn't new though. They're technically having to go back and fix a problem from years ago. By the way, Kevin, congrats on being a member now, thanks to a very, very kind Hank gifting that in. Thank you for that. Yeah, we call it the spam, don't worry. We call it the spam. I might be working, I might be talking to devs, but I'm still catching the spam. Still catching the spam. Oh man, this has been an issue for 3.5 years already? Yeah. Gloria, look, I mean, we can gripe and complain, but it is what it is. Overload, welcome in. Glad that you're here. Thank you for signing up to be a supporter of the channel. as we talk to gamers, as we talk to GD. They couldn't really make the Defiant a strong combat ship. They would have had to create a comparable ship for ROMs and Klingons to match it. Well, that's the thing, David. It doesn't take advantage of any Federation stuff. So you wouldn't have had to do that. Could they address part of the Apex by spawning more than one? They could, and I've already suggested that. I've already pushed that and tried to make that a thing. That if they would run more than one at a time and launch several, get rid of all the ones that don't create exocomps and launch more Apex, that would help. But look, it is what it is. So do we have to use the Defiant in the Armada? You don't have to. It will be better as a solo Armada ship as it tiers and levels up. You can just boost the ship though and use it as a Cerrito. The Dank says Scopely could at least make the Defiant like the ISS Jelly. Since the Defiant is a tank, well, first of all, the Defiant's not a tank. The Defiant was an escort ship that just was extremely overpowered and overarmed, but it wasn't a tank. Here, I'm showing the dev mine. Here, let me show. Here, where's my interceptors? There we go. Taking screenshots. You have two Defiants. Thomas, well, I bought one yesterday for the stream, and then Scopely gave content creators one, so I'm ending up with two. And what I'll end up doing is I'll leave one at tier 1, and then I'll have another one that I tier up a little bit, and we'll use that as a comparison for the video. Defiant was not an escort ship. It was labeled as one because the Federation doesn't build all-out warships. That's what it was. Dude, it was not a battleship, though. We cannot word it like that. It was an escort. It was not stronger than a Galaxy-class ship. It was not stronger than a Sovereign-class ship. Copley has not fixed Tau yet. Tau's just deactivated. He's basically been forgotten about. Scopely actually gave something to content creators finally. I mean, no, let's not word it like that because Scopely gives something to content creators every month. Content creators who are on the official content creation team get a free battle pass usually, and typically we'll get at least one of the rare officers. We don't get given the epic officers, but we'll be given the rares every month. Now, for like my other accounts, I still have to buy a battle pass and stuff, or I have to buy like a monthly pack or something like that. But, you know, they did give the Defiant out, and let's see. I think they gave the Mantis? I don't remember. There's one specialist ship they didn't give me, and I don't remember what it was. They did give me a feature, though, because y'all see my Devore. I didn't have enough to get the Devore. They did not give us cloaking. I had to buy cloaking. But anyway, I'm always very open about what they give and what they don't do. Still no Silver Plush Enterprise? Yeah, no Silver Plush Enterprise. For our game purposes, it makes sense to find as an interceptor and support ships, Sirius's Explorer, Manus's battleship. Yeah, I mean, they go in a pattern. If you've ever looked in the style of specialty ships and stuff, they always go in a pattern. Until they add a new class, which I've actually been pushing them to do. I think they need to create an entirely new class. But, yeah. Get the jelly running. Defiant is not a Fed ship, so Fed research does not count. Correct. The Defiant does not get Federation bonuses. It would be kind of nice if it did, but it doesn't. We think about the Prime faction node research. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not really a fan. Let's see. I'm gonna get this one down here. I'm gonna have to wait for the. I'm gonna have to camp this spawn. Probably have to camp this spawn. Already have a problem with the Mantis grind currently, and with free-to-play players coming in a month or more, the systems are too full. Either more systems each level or more Apex. No arguments here. No arguments. Why does it get Fed bonuses? The Fed ship in the cannon because it's a specialty ship. No special, like the ISS Jelly, which is obviously, or the Jellyfish was obviously based on a Fed. It doesn't get bonuses. The Vidar, which is a Romulan ship, does not get bonuses. No specialty ship gets bonuses. I think the Prime Swarm Refinery is good. It is not as good as you level up, in my opinion. Like if you're in the 50 plus range. If you're in the 40s, I think the Swarm one is really good for that 500% bonus. Since you mentioned the Fisha, is the Devore part efficiency research on the horizon to make that easier? Not that I'm aware of. Draco says it's crap for 50 plus. Yeah, I don't like it for 50 plus, but I do think if you're in the 40s, it's really good. So that means you'd spend $100, and depending on how quickly you're progressing, you know, you're getting a year's worth of extra value. I mean, that's up to you though. Why is it not a Fed ship? Again, because it's a specialty ship. Specialty ships do not have allegiances, as it were. Specialty ships are solo ships. I mean, the Cerritos should get Fed bonuses, but it doesn't. And technically, it's probably good because if they did, that would make it a little unfair because you don't have especially Romulan ships coming out. You have especially Klingon ships coming out. Mostly it's just Federation. It doesn't take Fed credits to build. Easier that way to think about it like that is why it's not a Fed ship. I mean, you know, in the show, obviously it's a Federation ship, but in the game, for the purposes of balance, it's not Fed. But we all know this game's not canon. You know, this game is the video game. I mean, there's a lot of things on here that aren't canon because I still can't transport officers across my system to another ship. I mean, this game isn't meant to follow canon and be perfect. That's just not what it's designed to be. So. Collect. Gloria, I don't know why you're being so insulting. Me and Beck have been friends for over a year. If you continue to make comments, you will be removed of your ability to make comments. You cannot be nice, and you can't say something nice. Don't say anything at all. Be nice feature, being able to swap out officers inside your base. I mean, I realize there's a tech limitation to like the game itself. And let's just call it what it is. This game is not built very well. Like on its actual Unity platform, you know, it is not built very well. So how do you get around that? How do you fix that? I don't have the answer for it, but tech-wise, that's why it's not in the game. It's just not something they have ability to do, and they would have to make that ability. So, and I've had conversations with game design for years where they talk about like when this thing was designed, it wasn't designed in a very, let's say, modular way. It's very difficult to just add new things and change things. And just from the ground up, what it really needs, and will never get because it's obviously an active game, it needs to be rebuilt. But that obviously won't happen. So there's difficulty in doing things that are very Star Trek friendly in the video game world. When do Pylon BPs pop into the ATA store? So at level 44, I see them, and I'm at Commended. It is, I think it's 80% of the way to Commended, plus being level 44, you'll see it. Does Defiant also give bonuses to hostile loot or just Armadas? Just Armadas from now. I did give feedback that it needs to give a bonus when grinding regular loot. Adam, you do not have to have full rep. You do not have to have full rep. I think it's 80% to rep. But you don't have to have full rep because I was pulling Valdor before I had rep. I think it's 80%. Unless specifically for the Pylon, the made to the 46 rares have got to have rep. But the uncommons only need to be about 80%. And the Defiant Cloak, not yet, Matthew. Are there plans to have the Defiant Cloak? Short answer, probably. Short answer, probably. Things Rev can't answer directly. Why does everyone go after the Pylon? Short answer is the firing pattern. For a long time, it was probably the only ship people really wanted to go after, but the firing pattern is just so good on it. It's easy to fall in love with it as a ship. But that's the answer. The firing pattern is great. Makes early kills really easy. It's a fantastic hostile grinder, fantastic PvP. It's just a very good, well-rounded ship. Hey, Grand Nagus, how are you doing? How do you have 2 ship abilities? There's only 1 icon to click for the ship ability, cloak, supporter, etc. I mean, they can make it work there. Can you see they just they just updated and changed around the UI for that system. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could find a way to make that work. I mean, I think of all the things that's a problem for Scopely, that should be a very small one. What's the best Pylon killer? The Coronar. Coronar can definitely take down the Pylon. What you're probably going to see a lot of is Pylon versus Coronar with strike team crews on it. So, Defiance and Anti-Climax could have been amazing. Would have been a bridge ship based on from initial strength. Ability increased ops. It's got little value over 40. Agreed, and I've passed that along. There we go. I have a feeling this could end up being a sneaky good month. Just a shame it's coming on the heels of 2 pretty crappy months. I like the event structure this month. So I think this month should feel better, but let's get through it first. Hey, Boxer, good to see you. Let's get through it first. Because it can look good, but let's make sure it's good, you know? How many matching commander bonuses for ships? I'm not sure what you're asking for, Cillian. They should add the USS Relativity so all people can go back to when they remember and get all the free stuff. Again, I don't even get the joke, David. I don't even get the joke. Why can't you jump from your base? For whatever reason, that got changed in this update. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Red best player on my server is going for the Tribune. How good is it versus other 4-star ships? The Tribune has always been really good because of its ability to multi-proc weapons. Combine that with Strike Team La'an, and it is super good. So the Tribune is a good ship, and now Solar Armadas have really dampen down that argument on skipping the 50s. So I would say, hey, probably going to be in a good position if they've got Strike Team Law on, even more so. Eco says the bug and working on fix. Nice. Yeah. I haven't even asked about that, to be honest with you. Haven't even asked about that, to be honest with you. Greetings from Germany. Let's see, what time is it? Guten Abend in Germany. Is there a limit of how much loot you can get from armadas? Because the battle log shows the freighter getting killed. So no, armada loot goes directly to your holds. Like if you're doing a solo armada, and they said they're going to work on fixing that display. I thought they did, but no, it does not limit your loot. Don't skip the 50 ships. It's cheaper to repair with the new strike teams. Much stronger. They use to be used in triangle. Exactly, Art. And we used to really push skipping them. Why was the Klingon event today an opt-in event? Jeez, I didn't even realize it was. Oh. Wait, which one is it? I didn't realize it was an opt-in event. Where's it at? Is it in the viewing party? Kill Klingon hostiles. It is an opt-in event. Okay. Random. Didn't know that was an opt-in event. I haven't done it yet, and I was going to, but I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you told me. And no, there is no event store. Not sure who said there's an event store. Solar Armada events in the calendar, do you think will include uncommon ones or just rares? Probably include uncommon. I don't know for sure, Mihai. Oh yeah, more spammers. That's how you know you're making it, when you get spammers. Take the Trit and Crystal. I mean, I'm gonna grind it. I'll go do the, for those that don't remember, by the way, just a good, healthier reminder. You do have the systems that don't take away rep right here for Klingons. If you go hit them here, use your PMC crew or whatever, hit them here, and that'll give you that mission without having to lose any rep if you're Klingon positive, which I am. I am almost commended. I am 8.6 million away from commended here with Klingon. 8.6 away. Okay, any spin event this month, and if more than one, so you have, Jimmy, you have heroic spin events. You do not have a leaderboard, but you basically have big SMS events that are spinning. I think there's 3 of them. So they're not leaderboards, so they're not really made for you to blow everything and then get like an officer for free, but they do have heavy heroic SMSs. So the loss and lag, yes, you do have rep exocomps, but remember, today is Wednesday. If you use those rep exocomps, it could hurt you if you're trying to camp that Cerritos event. It could hurt you if you're trying to camp the Cerritos event. So there's multiple reminders for all the little things. 3 heroic spins. Thank you, Rasshound. I thought that was, I just didn't want to pull up the calendar. I have the calendar saved. The dev team sent us the calendar yesterday. Here is the visual calendar. Where is it? Calendar. Here it is. For those that want to see the calendar itself. Here you go. I'll leave it up on the screen. That's the full calendar with the events that haven't changed yet. Can you throw the calendar in your captain's quarters? I can. Sure can. And again, apologies for the typing. I'm either talking to Eco or DJ or a dev or something like that, just trying to get y'all's feedback in, because my goal is anything that we have, whether it's an event or a new ship or something like that, that isn't immediately like well-liked and things need changing, I want to provide feedback on that. So where's the other Rev? Do the type while you stream? I should bring up second Rev, which that was a fun episode on Twitch yesterday. Are the recruit Wayun of the heroic events, or is it like Ducat last month where we need to buy packs for them? So again, these are material spend heroic SMSs. Material spend heroic SMSs. So you will spend materials to complete them, and it's listed in our news channel, but they are not leaderboard based. So there's not like a full unlock coming in. Do you have any updates about the free-to-play grind path for upgrading the Defiant? What update are you really looking for, Grads McCaden? What update are you looking for? So some Alliance members under 35 are asking about sourcing for the Defiant. Will they be able to start collecting the BPs now, or will they not show up until the Bajoran store? They will not show up until the Bajoran store. And I doubt they'll be in event stores. So you will need to be level 35. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. The No Isis Jelly SLB event this month? No, there is one. Yeah, there's a Jelly SLB this month. It's in the Brigadier. You must have missed it. It's in the news. Scroll down to the very bottom. See? Jelly Pursuit. November 22nd through 23rd. Yeah. November 7th. I just don't count that as part of our LBs, because usually when we're talking about a spin event, we're talking about for like a spin LB for the officers. But you do have Jelly Pursuit this month. Here, let me put it on the screen. I forgot to have the calendar up. You do have Jelly Pursuit this month. And you've got Parabellum once on the 16th, so 1 week from today. You've got another Brawl 2 weeks from today. And then you've got the Jelly Pursuit in 2-ish weeks from today. So Boxer, to finish Parabellum, go hit either heavies or regular traders in Capital System. I have a red pip on my unbought battle pass. Yikes. Like actually in the store there's a pip? Or here? Because I know I have these two because I didn't collect those yesterday. Can you mention adding Jimmadar hostile loot drops to devs? Already did. Already did. The top 3 things that I suggested they change about the Defiant. Tier system should be reduced. I would say reduce it from 55 down to 50. Second thing was you should get a bonus for loot grinding Jimmadar hostiles, and then the kinetic weapon itself should change how often it fires from every 4 rounds to maybe every 2 or every 3 rounds. Do any of these names words sound familiar that's pertaining to Canis Major? Okay. No idea what you want me to say to that. The 4 you receive for the Elite Battle Pass rewards. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing 2 for the top, and then I'm seeing 2 more for the bottom that I haven't bought. Noted. 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 Now, I've not completed my event today, which is what, Swarm and Borg probe grinding, which, believe it or not, I'm actually going to go do Borg probes. I'm actually going to do Borg probes today. The Elite Battle Pass Rewards pack seems a really strong value this month. So they increased it this month. They worked on that. They worked on that. Any word on if a full epic unlock possibility by completing the BP, heroic SMS, and buying the elite BP? I do not have that, Nick. I'll actually have to ask the head dev for this month on that. I don't know. I think you're buying it gets you what, 20? If you buy it, you get 20 Wayun. I would have to go and ask. I think that's not. I don't think that's going to unlock it. But I'll have to go ask. Giveaway BP, yeah. So Chris, we give away our 5 battle passes on launch day every Tuesday. So when it launches on Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch, we give it away. Can you say when the treasury is coming, Rastrus? Typically, the treasury comes in the middle of the month. Pretty consistently, it's been coming in the middle of the month. Again, I do want to apologize for all the typing. Just trying to provide feedback, which I think is good. I mean, while we've been sitting here for 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, a game designer's been taking and seeing your feedback. Like, I've been copy and pasting things that y'all say. So it's cool that some of the stuff that y'all are saying is going straight to game design. Now, I can't guarantee that changes things for the better, but it is good that you're at least being heard. So I do apologize for the typing or anything, but I'm just trying to show them what y'all are saying. Trying to make sure y'all's feedback gets to the right people. What's the sourcing for the second rare officer? There is not a full unlock for the second rare. So there's not a full unlock set for the second rare. The pawn has a complete unlock set, but there's not a full meta for the second that's completely free to play. How long will you be streaming tonight? So I'm only streaming on here for probably 5 or 10 more minutes, but then I will be on Twitch tonight for about 2 hours. We'll be on Twitch tonight for about 2 hours. If y'all want to come jump into the Twitch channel tonight, have more questions, get more answers. And I said, I'm probably talking to the dev team throughout the day based on some of the things that y'all are saying, really trying to work on the Defiant. And it's also why I haven't put the video out yet. So. Let's see. Come on, finish the Jelly Brawl, please. Hurry up. Also going to speed up all this research so that my poor little Defiant is much better than it is because I have not done any research. Rev's been slacking on research. Surprise, surprise. Slacking on interceptor research. I've been doing much better with my, what do you call that stupid ship? Oh yeah, the Stella. What's your initial impression of the Explorer Strike team? Is it worth going for a Valdor if I'm planning on bidding a palm next month? Nick, I always answer that question the same way. How long is it going to take you to get to level 46? If it's going to take you less than 6 months from where you're at on the Valdor, then probably skip it. I would say that Getting the uncommons is better now than it used to be, especially because of Solar Armadas. I'm getting a second one because of Solar Armadas that I'll probably only upgrade through the common track, as in the common materials. But yeah, I think that there's value in that. I think that that's a good plan. But it's up to you at the end of the day. It has value. If it's going to take you longer than 6 months, then definitely get you an uncommon. Definitely get you an uncommon if it's going to take you longer than that. Shields and interceptor warfare. And you need, oh, you don't have enough to upgrade. Okay. I need more isogen. How do you get Starbase research? I get Starbase research by rep, and I am currently esteemed with my alliance. 10 million is maximum. 10 million is maximum. Do you think an Ops 34 grade 3 D4 should be better than Ops 35 grade 4 Defiant? No. But an Ops 35 can't have a grade 4 Defiant. The limit if you're Ops 35 is 1. You cannot get a tier 4 Defiant until level 40. So the D4 out of the box at level 35 is going to outperform in everything except Solar Armada's the Defiant, as it currently sits. As it currently sits. We are trying to get it to change more here in the future. I'm really digging the new Prime Swarm Refinery. I don't know if not having to worry about the 5 holes of 42 uncommon day is worth 100 quid. That's up to you. I do think that for most players, if you're 50 plus, I don't think it has a ton of value. But for most players, that's a good prime. That's a good prime. If you're willing to spend $100. Chris says, can we get 3 PvP zones for the next incursions, 26 for faction ships, and 34 for epics, and 42 for the first year 4-star ships? Why would you only want that? Limits so many different players, though, if you only did those ships and those levels. Socialists, you get Alliance rep by doing Cardassian armadas and then turning in the materials here in your Alliance store. And see, that's going to give me my Alliance rep points right there. What are your thoughts on the G4 faction miners? Currently 39, not planning on moving up. Personally, I skipped the G4 faction miners until late in the 40s. Late in the 40s. Where'd the music go? Oh, music usually runs out after about an hour. I just need to restart it. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. Should Alliance rep be in other activities? I mean, I don't think Alliance rep is hard to get as it is, so I really have no issue with the Alliance rep system. Now, I know some people do because they want to be able to move to other alliances and stuff, but since it came out, I'm at, almost 6 million, made it pretty far in, and I'm still got researches to do. So sorry, Rev, I missed type my last question. I got a Valdor. What's your thoughts on getting an Explorer strike team for it? I plan on building a pylon next month with a Cardi strike team. I'll say this: the strike team has definitely shown that if you're fighting either with the triangle or against your non-triangle opponent. So for example, explorers fighting interceptors or fighting other explorers, it's a great set to have, which means it'll be a good set on your Valdor. How hardcore do you want to go after it? Kind of up to you, but it definitely elevates the normal PvP level of a Valdor, for sure. For sure. I'm at 9 million, not doing very much work. For what, Mihai? No context. Oh, you mean the, do you mean just the rep? First says, what's the verdict on the Defiant? The verdict on the Defiant is, I would be happy if it was not the Defiant. Like, the way it's set up, the free-to-play path, all those are good things, but overall, it is just too weak to be the Defiant. If it was the USS Excelsior, if it was the USS Reliant, I literally have no issue with this design. But because it is the Defiant, I really dislike a lot of aspects, and that's why I'm trying to get it improved. And I think you get the same feedback from a lot of players. The Defiant should be stronger than it is. The strike team's now out. Does this make obsolete Honor Guard Warfare? Where does he fit? He's just your secondary PvP. You know, Honor Guard Warfare is actually part of the counter, if you want to say a counter, to the strike team battleship crew. So we limit PvE zones to only those ships. Everyone can compete, and Wells done come in with 5-star ships to own everyone. Well, that's still not going to allow you to compete because 5-star players are going to have research where you're not going to overcome that. And it's really not fair for a player to have unlocked a Tribune and for you to say they can't use the Tribune. So that's not really fair. What's the counter for Battleship PvP Strike Team? Sharvnik, Gorkon, and Honor Guard Wharf, or Sharvnik, Lorca, Honor Guard Wharf. I mean, as much of a counter as you can have. Strike Team is obviously the best PvP crews in the game. Kardashian faction? There is no Kardashian faction. There's no Kardashian faction. PvP zones should be done by ops level range. Now that I can get. I can get the ops level range. A video idea could be ranking the strike teams and generally discussing their pros and cons. When they're all out, we can do that, but they're not. Nobody's fully unlocked them all yet, so. Nobody's unlocked them all yet. I would say the battleship is the strongest, but I haven't even used the explorers yet, so I can't speak on the explorers. Can't speak on the explorers. So basically, you're trying to get the developers to take the Defiant from being a one-trick pony to a one-trick horse. Yeah, honestly, I am. Like, I don't want the Defiant to so here's what I don't want. I don't want the Defiant to be a level 35 ship. That is the only ship you need until level 55. But at the same time, I don't want the Defiant relegated to basically being a Cerritos 2.0. I want it to be able to be something that you can use in PvP and territory. And I want it to be something that you can use as a grind ship if you wanted a second or a third grind ship. I don't want it to replace the Enterprise or your Pylon, but I do want it to be worth using. I do want it to be worth using. Jemadar ships say they have chests available, but I've yet to receive one. Should they or should they not? They do not drop chests that I'm aware of. They do not that I'm aware of. What if when the Defiant gets cloaking, it gets a bigger boost to cloaked attacks, meaning it's sneaky powerhouse Street Fighter? Well, then the problem is, Daniel, you don't get enough cloaking to do that, relatively consistently anyway. Like, you don't get a lot of cloaking. So, I finished Jelly Brawl forever ago. I'm just sitting here grinding random fed ships. I mean, I need the rep, but these are baby fed ships. I need to be grinding bigger fed ships. These are baby fed ships. All right, y'all, we have hit our 1.5 hour mark. If y'all are here, smash the like button. I'm gonna be live again tonight. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up so I can have some more of these conversations that aren't, going back and forth so much. I appreciate all of y'all's love. I do want to give a shout out to a couple people. One, David, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And then also Ordrin, thank you earlier for supporting the channel. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. It means the world that you would see me in that way and want to help me out in that way. And I want to say big, huge thank you. Live long and prosperous. Stay safe for those Space Cowboys. Deuces. That's me. We'll catch y'all on the next video, which tomorrow I will release a Defiant video, and I'll see y'all then. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.